These are the tales and ramblings of two men, their dream of running a successful food truck business and life. We invite you along to join Josh and Skippy on this journey. This is Monday Morning Food Truck.
All right. There was an arrow at the bottom that I had to flick up.
Well, welcome to the Monday Morning Food Truck with Skippy and Josh.
I swear nobody actually knows my real name. It's great. I
think I'm going back and forth this whole time with you, so you probably haven't even noticed.
No, I feel like I'm in witness protection.
So it's August the 8th.
Yeah.
Skippy coming off his second weekend off in a row.
Oh, off? I mean, it's not off.
Did you have fun?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Did you have more fun than you worked?
Yes. So quick.
So you had a weekend off.
Quick story. When I posted on our PB&J's Facebook page that I was going to the Westland competition, a noted food trucker slash barbecue diva posted that there's
I didn't say anything.
Not you. Eastside barbecue diva posted that there's no money to be made in competitions, and so I ended up getting 4th overall, and I got a text from that barbecue diva that says, "Hey, how'd you do?" I'm like, "Oh, not bad, 4th overall." He's like, "Congrats, man. It was too hot to sell barbecue anyway." Shout out to Bubba.
Oh, that's who it was.
Yeah.
He's not a diva.
Oh,
yeah, there's no money in competitions. Which is why I've had a hard time. I mean, unless you're pulling calls and high calls. That's why I've had a hard time pulling the trigger in any contest. It's hard to take a weekend off. So
yeah, it is. But
I'll get back eventually. I think I don't know how you did what you did with the 4th place overall after not cooking a contest for 11 months. I can't do it. I am not that person that can just go in and cook like I have to keep doing something over and over again in order for it to really click for me to be comfortable with it. And doing one contest a year is not it for me. So getting my ass kicked for over a weekend. So yeah, we did. The last one I did was it Liberty? No.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one at the fairgrounds in the Indiana? That's not Liberty. Forsyth. Yeah. The double there, and I got my ass kicked twice in a weekend when we could have been set up selling food and actually making money. Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow.
It is. So I had, for those of you who might have caught it, well, you guys actually didn't catch it last time because I didn't really talk about it. So I went down, and I'm still trying to search for my identity with this whole food truck thing. And you and I use the same smoker, and you and I probably put out pretty similar product. And I know I have friends around here, and a lot of people use the same, I guess, cooker to put out the same product, or they have gas assist, or, they're using big old rotisseries that you might burn a half a log just to get that charcoal or just to get that wood fired thing. In my town, we have 3 barbecue places, and they all use the same stuff. So I'm trying to, I guess, be more authentic. And, you and I talked off air last week, and I've been told that I'm just flipping crazy. So in an effort to continue craziness, because personally, I'd rather go to bed, I guess, earlier and wake up earlier than, considering most of my events are in the afternoon. I don't set up, the 10 to 7 or 11 to 7 or, what that you do. So I went down to Indiana, went to Outlaw Smokers, and picked up a stick burner. And a stick burner is just a firebox, a barrel, and a stack on the left side, and you burn wood. That's your thing. You start it with charcoal and you burn wood. But I'm intrigued by why Texas is so good. Why? I mean, obviously they're the beef capital, but why are they what makes them the place to go? Because in this wintertime, I want to go down there. And I know you went down there. And so I'm going to do more research, but
And there's a
I think
couple different ways to do stick burners though. So,
correct.
and you're doing the newer way,
See,
the hot and fast. You're going hot and fast versus low and slow.
I will still do, 275, 300 degrees.
Hey, that's hot.
You cook at 250.
Yeah. How long is it going to take you to cook a brisket?
I'll have briskets and butts done in less than probably 8 hours.
Okay.
What?
I'm at 14 hours for a brisket.
And I still don't even know how that's possible because I'm not at 14 hours for a brisket. I cook it at the same temperature.
And that's the other part is
You have more surface area than I do.
I have different zones, and yeah, so you know how those are, that you have different temperature zones. So I'm probably close. But are you wrapping though?
No, I wasn't, or I haven't been.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
So this one is going to be, it's going to be a completely different way to cook. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be more authentic. And if I have, big events or festivals, I still have the gravity feed for those options. But I think it also gives me a chance to play with temperatures more and, have, if I want to throw, chicken pieces on there, like quarters or legs or something like that, or even wings, I think it gives me more of a way to get that what everybody expects, I guess, from kind of going in their backyard at their buddy's house and just getting the best wing they ever had. I don't cook
I will say it definitely gives you lots of options to cook different things in different ways.
Yeah.
For you to be able to do some things at different temperatures with the two different smokers at a very least.
Yeah, my house is still under renovation, so we're still in a work in progress, but it's more of a, I don't know, it's a quest for authenticity. I want to be somebody different. And nobody in my town has what I have. So that's the goal, is to really stand out.
It's more about standing out than being authentic.
Well, that too, but it's still.
How do you think you were not being authentic before?
Because of the, authentic is, I guess, it's all in perception. What's your perception of authentic? If you go to seven different
propane or electric,
not propane, electric, gas, whatever, is definitely
you're cooking over a flame. Yeah.
Cooking with live fire
that's produced by charcoal or wood.
Correct.
In my opinion, that's where I see authentic barbecue.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't go with an old hickory, because I didn't want the gas lines on the porch. I didn't want people to see gas lines on my porch.
Correct.
For the same reason, I wanted it to feel more authentic. But sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Authentic can also be, okay, is brisket just salt and pepper? Is brisket more? Is Texas style just straight salt and pepper on everything, like your ribs and your pork and stuff like that? I'm going to start with, I guess, what I believe is a cooking apparatus that will put out better barbecue than I'm doing now. So it's also,
that's all that matters. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also the ambiance of when you go out and cater and people want it at their house and they see fire, they see a smoke coming out of it. They can actually, I guess, see you opening the doors, and, it's not just nothing against what I have, because I loved it and I love it still, but I don't know, it's just more of the ambiance is better, I think, too.
Okay. As long as it works for you, Skippy, that's all that really matters. And it puts out a product that you're happy with, and that, more importantly, people are happy with.
We'll see. It should be.
I have every confidence in you.
Well, at least one of us does. I'm just kidding. No, I was going to bed at midnight because that's when I'd put meat on and be done by 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's still the same. A lot of it's still the same as what I was doing, except I just do it earlier. And I'd rather go to bed earlier and wake up earlier and just, there's something about sitting there watching a fire. It's kind of weird, but.
No, I get it. I did it for a lot of years.
We saw Big Blue up for sale back in the day. We could devote an whole a whole episode on how many smokers we've had.
I'm only at 3.
Oh boy.
Well,
All
that's not true. 4. If you count all 3 of those. 6.
I've had a lot. Anyway.
Yeah,
I usually-
I definitely haven't gone through them like you.
When people ask why you've got or how many smokers have you had, I just say some people invest in their 401k. I invest in smokers.
Hey, prices of steel right now. I mean, it's a good investment. You had a while ago.
It could be just a good investment. Yeah.
Think of all that scrap you got.
I probably could have got more when I sold it. Anyway. So how was your week? Your end of August or end of July, early August?
Well, yeah, we're a full week now in August. We were at the first week of August was good. Yeah, we had it was a good week. The only my truck, my awesome freaking diesel is I love diesels. They're great, and I love the EPA. Yep.
Okay. Yes, we love our environmental protection agency.
That's exactly the one I'm talking about. Yeah. For those that don't know, diesel trucks have a DEF system, diesel exhaust fluid system.
Oh, did we run low?
Oh no, this has been a problem I've had since last winter that I don't think was diagnosed or fixed correctly.
Oh,
My DEF low sensor is off anyways, but I never let it get that low typically. I keep one in my truck at all times pretty much, and then I'd fill it randomly. But anyway, so I've had poor fluid quality warnings on and off. Fluid's fine. All the fluid I put in is fine. Always. But it goes on and off, on and off, on and off, whatever. Problem with it being on is if it won't properly clear that warning within 200 miles.
Oh yeah.
You go into limp mode.
Oh yeah.
Because it can't run, it doesn't run that's an unsuccessful test of when you start the truck. The other problem is for people like me who don't travel long distances every day and they're short trips, it clogs the filter for the diesel exhaust faster. So the particulates that it takes out of the exhaust go somewhere. So so as you drive your truck, it heats up and it burns off the particulates and it just goes out.
Oh,
That's the way it's designed. It's a regen process.
do we do some research on how this all works?
Dude, I can't tell you how many
know.
times I've Googled all the errors I get. So that's part of the normal regen process. It happens however often. And it should just do it. If you drive your truck a half hour straight for in a day, it's fine. You'll never have a problem. But if you're only driving 10 minutes, stop and go traffic,
Yep.
it clogs up and it will never regen. And then you run into other problems. So Friday, as Chris was driving the truck from our lunch location to our dinner location, out of the blue, it just reduced the engine power. So, which is not the hugest deal. Without a trailer attached, you can go still about 40 miles an hour. With a trailer attached, you're down to about 19.
You're limping.
Yes, literally limping. Like I had a hard time getting up hills. Like I wasn't sure we were going to make it up a couple of them.
Oh, wow.
Boy. Yeah, it's a great safety feature. Luckily, we weren't on the highway, which I've had it go into limp mode before on the highway. But yeah, so I was like, well, on the bright side, we just have catering Saturday. We don't have to take the trailer. We can manage it because both of them were like 10 minutes from my house. So we can manage it out of Cambros and everything. So, but we had to cancel yesterday's service just because I wasn't sure. I definitely wasn't going to drive to Newaygo at 19 miles an hour, and which is normally an hour drive, would have been a 3-hour drive. And who knows doing how much damage to whatever else. So, but I hopped in the truck yesterday just to kind of see it because I had to go to the store, and it's close enough that I can go around the corner. But it popped up with the what was it? Cleaning DEF filter, keep driving till message goes away or whatever. It's like, well, this is good because it's going to force a regen. So I hopped on the highway. Luckily in Grand Rapids, you can do loops on highways around the city. So I drove for 45 minutes at speed. So So the error went away and that cleared that. So I was out of limp mode and my poured diesel exhaust fluid sensor turned off.
Okay.
About 5 minutes and then it popped back on. So I'm still going to head over to the mechanic today and just have, because it still pops up, says service diesel exhaust system. Bullshit. So anyways,
Okay.
yeah. So that was my weekend. It was a good week overall. It sucks to lose Sunday, but we have a really, really good week planned. So we should still be able to meet last week's sales. So
Good.
I think
At least you think you got it, getting it.
it's not fixed. For sure not fixed. It's usable.
It's usable. Okay.
It needs to go to a mechanic probably for a few days for them to really just look
Go
into
through
it. But
Well, if the price of trucks weren't so damn high, you just get a new one.
and if I didn't have to still pay this one off,
Okay. Well, you probably get more for it now. Truck price of trucks are so damn high.
well, yeah, that's awesome until you have to buy the new one. So, but yeah, the way they structured the frickin' auto loan is, I don't even know how that happens anymore, but apparently they're structured like mortgages. So you're paying all the interest up front.
Oh yeah.
So halfway through my loan, I went to look at my payoff balance and it was pretty much the price of the frickin' truck. I was like, wait a
Of
minute,
course.
that's awesome.
Yay. Yay.
Yay. So yeah, it's I think I got another year and a half or so on the payments on that, but if it makes it that long, it will.
Better.
It will have a really good time at the mechanics for a week as soon as we hit October, end of October. So
Good. At least it'll be done.
Yeah.
Be
So-
done for next week or next year, I should say.
So yeah, it was a good week. They're all good weeks. It was hot. It was awful hot, just miserable.
Is your air keeping up?
It feels cooler in the truck than it does outside the truck, which is
Okay.
all you can ask for. I mean, the air temperature was below 90 every day, but it was just the humidity.
Oh, humidity was a killer.
Yeah. So we were close to 100% humidity all week long over here. I'm sure it was
Yeah.
the same on that side of the state. So yeah, I mean, the inside temperature, we were about 82 during
Okay.
service, which isn't awful. But yeah, it was enough to keep the mugginess out of the trailer. Like it was sucking that out. I mean, we had a
That's
pretty solid stream of water going off the trailer just from the AC
Yeah.
unit pulling all the moisture out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this week's supposed to be amazing. I'm waiting for this front to come through. We have had lots of clouds this morning. And it's supposed to be low 80s, upper 70s all week and zero humidity. So, or at least lower humidity starting
Yeah.
tomorrow. So
We're supposed to be pretty close to that, I think.
yeah. So yeah, that's good. Hey, how about we talk about an actual topic today?
What does Josh Hands eat for breakfast?
This morning I had a bowl of yogurt with some granola, nuts, and raisins in it.
Oh, okay. Sorry I asked that question. Anyway,
What'd you
yeah.
have?
What a granola bar, I think.
So pretty much the same thing, just without the yogurt.
Yeah, I can't do yogurt. Yeah, I don't do yogurt at all. So topic. Yeah, let's change the subject to a topic. I was thinking.
So
about
you want to start a food truck, huh?
No.
What? Nope, I don't. What is, in your opinion, the first thing you should be looking at? Like the thought crossed your mind, like, kind of interested in this whole food truck thing. What is the first thing?
Who's your help going to be?
Really?
Yep, that's the one thing. First thing, so I was going to start something in 2016. I had a porch trailer, had the vending thing all set up, ready to go, and then I realized I didn't have help. Now I realize that help is not having help. I can still do it myself, but I don't want to get ticket time so high. But yeah, for me, it's you can buy all the equipment in the world and you can start whatever you think you're going to start, get everything wrapped, make it all look good, contact places, market yourself. But if you don't have the help, you're a fish out of water. You're done. So help would be my number one thing, is who's going Who's going to run this with you?
Are you thinking more partner?
No, I'm thinking
I have Chris, who is, yeah,
Chris
doing all day, every day with me.
Yeah, who's going to be your right-hand person? You can own it. I mean, you can, if you want to give up percentage of ownership to get somebody in, that's fine. But at the end of the day, who's going to be your ride or die on that truck with you? That if you got a catering an hour and a half away, who's going to go with you?
I didn't have that until my second year.
Starting to figure that out. Anyway, so who's going to be that ride or die?
So you think that is more important than your concept for food?
Absolutely.
Your ability to be able to serve in your area?
It's all that's important. Don't get me wrong. It's all important, but
I mean, what good does it do to have a right-hand man if you don't have anywhere to sell food? Or you're a shitty cook.
That's it. I mean, okay, I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's either you can run the truck yourself or you can't. If you can, no matter how good your food is, no matter how much marketing you can do, and no matter, you're not going to have I don't think you're going to have a 5-star chef go out there in a food truck if he doesn't have help. A guy already knows his food's good. Guy already knows. I mean, you could have an Italian chef want to open up a pasta truck, and already done the marketing, but you got no help because you're an ass, or just there's nobody available, or you don't trust people. Trust is a big thing too, but
man, you've thrown me off with that answer.
I'm sorry. No,
it's like that's like so far down my list of an order of operations.
So you're telling me that did not cross your mind when you started thinking about this?
Well, sure it did, but I didn't go looking for people. I couldn't go looking for people on something I didn't have yet, or have an idea of when I was going to have it.
So here's my scenario. So I ended up not doing that because I had a buddy who was going to commit, and then kids got in the way, life in the way. So I didn't think I could run the truck myself.
Mm-hmm.
I knew food was going to be fine. I knew I could market. I've been a sales guy for 20 something years. At least I hoped my food was good. But anyway, when I restarted this in last year, that same question came through my mind of, am I going to have help? And I was talking to my wife before she started her own business. Are you going to be in it with me? Are we going to be a husband and wife team? Are you going to be, you're going to help prep? You're going to make stuff, what's going to happen? And then she got her own business and can't commit to it. So then I already had the food truck. I already did an event or two with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it's what I wanted to do. Then I had to go out and find help all over again. So I had everything, but then you got to find help.
But I think that's such an ongoing thing.
Chris isn't been
most food trucks. There's the food industry alone. I mean, the turnover's high.
Turnover's high for sure.
And most of us don't want to run our trucks by ourselves. We can, but no one wants to.
You are very fortunate, in my opinion, to have Chris.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
I don't have a Chris.
When you don't necessarily need one.
Oh,
it's very helpful.
So so you have to figure out what your concept's going to be, whether there's demand for that concept, whether you can actually cook that concept, whether you can find the equipment needed to do that concept, and then deal with your health department. Every health department in this state is different, which is stupid.
Well, not let alone the country.
Freaking ridiculous. I've had offers to go to Ohio and cook, and I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with another state.
Indiana for me. Got a lot of requests for me to go down.
Indiana. It's like I have enough time dealing with Michigan. I don't want to deal with another state.
I did look into the Indiana one when we first started, just because it was a single event. So I looked at a temporary, just like Michigan has temporaries. It wasn't too bad, but their list of requirements were a little bit worded in a way that made me uncomfortable. I don't remember what they were, but I remember reading through. I was like, well, that's It's weird.
That's like an oh boy. That's like when you look at something, you're like, oh boy.
Yeah. So I just would rather not deal with it. But yeah.
So starting a food truck, I believe, okay, fine. Absolutely in your top three is you need help. I mean, you need to identify who your help is going to be.
If not who, but what help?
Or how much help, or whether that help
Exactly.
is
So what can you offload off your plate? For me, that's what it is. So now I'm at the point where I need time back here at this desk to be able to do the stuff I need to do. So I'm looking at people to take things away from me. Me being off the truck primarily is helpful, usually. It allows me to do the things that you do during the day because you're not out during the day a lot of the times. Yeah. You have more free time than I do. And if I only was doing dinner services, I would have more time too. But since we're open, we're either prepping or open from 4 a.m. to 7, 8.
For sure.
That leaves me an hour and a half before I go to bed.
Yeah, your schedule is, the fact that you do your schedule for 9 months out of the year is flipping crazy.
I agree. But I need more help, but I can't afford more help.
All right. So the other thing you have to realize is, okay, so what you just said about being able to offload things. Do you trust the people to put out the product that you want put out because you're the head chef?
Yes.
You're the guy.
Yeah, the team that I had between Chris, Pam, and then my son who just stopped last week, stopped working. When you start to see people leaving reviews when you're not there, it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. Is it to the precise levels that I would like it to be all the time? Probably not. But no one's going to meet that level that I have set in my head. I don't meet that level 100% of the time, you know? Yeah. I mean, I try to hold to a standard that's unachievable. We try for perfection, but we know it's not possible.
So would you feel confident if you went on a vacation and Chris had to run the truck himself?
Yeah.
Not himself, but do all the prep, do all the cooking, do everything that needs to.
Chris right now is trimming and rubbing and putting on 90% of the meat every day, even if I'm there. He does most.
You're in year 3?
Yeah.
Year 4?
So
year 3?
Third year full time. So he started when we went full time, he was with me full time.
Yeah. So,
but it took him a long time to get to where he was comfortable trimming. So he's more comfortable. This baffles me. He's more comfortable trimming a brisket than he is slicing the brisket after it's cooked.
I can see that. I can see that. Do you know why? Because a lot of people don't know how to slice a brisket. We've seen that.
But he knows how. He doesn't think he's fast enough.
Oh, well.
And really, if after you cut the first slice, you take a look at it. At most, you got one stupid slice. You turn it 45 degrees and cut it the other direction. So
you'll still it'll still be good. So
exactly, and we don't sell slices, so everything's chopped. So I mean, everything's fixable. But
okay, what's you got my number 1? I mean, 1B, 1C, whatever. What's your number? It's got to be to me is top 3. It's very very
and I get it. And as you're gonna try more, not finding the person, but identifying what you need help with. I mean, do you need a service person, or do you need a background person to allow you freedom to be more accessible on the truck? Like I could pay somebody to do all my back end stuff, but I have less trust in that. Like I am more comfortable doing our social media stuff than I would have a harder time giving that to somebody else because of that reach. Yeah. And one stupid effing post, and I post enough dumb stuff on my own. I don't need somebody else thinking they're funny.
True. I have fat fingers. I always screw up my posts. So
so do I. And
I'd rather be the one who screws it up than somebody else screws it up.
with the culture the way it is today, someone makes an off-color joke. It's one thing if I do it and I can take ownership for it, but somebody else says something else during an election cycle and all of a sudden it's
Downhill from there.
yeah, chaos. And
You don't want that.
so yeah, for me, I think it's identifying those people, but I think I think the major step is, besides having a solid why, I don't think you can do this as a hobby. I know there are some people that do, but or treat it like I'm going to retire and just do this for fun. That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Like I couldn't do this for fun. I enjoy what I do and I think it's fun, but it's not. Yeah. So I think having a strong enough why is important to get
It's going to lead. It's something that's going to lead you to a retirement plan. It's not going to at some point or another when we're 70.
I hope so. Yeah.
It's not something that you should do when you retire if you've never done it before.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So I think identifying your why, and then I think I'm going to make the assumption that you don't already have a trailer or any of that stuff.
Sure.
Like it's somewhat, a lot of barbecue guys are pretty well equipped to move into that, transition into that business, especially if you've done competition for a long time or whatever. You have a lot of stuff already built in.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any of that history or equipment or anything, I think your concept, first of all, your type of truck that you want to be. Are you going to be a festival truck? Are you going to be an everyday truck? Because there are those that only do festivals, but that's where they make their money. They work 3-4 days a week, for Thursday through Sunday or Friday through Sunday, and that's it.
Yep.
And those are two very, very different setups.
Absolutely.
What did I say? What was the first thing I said? I don't know. This is how these end up being an hour and a half long.
I get it. So in
other words,
words,
financing. How the hell are you financing this venture?
hold on a second. Why finance it? That's the other thing too, is why finance? I don't have any debt on mine.
You already had a trailer.
I had an RV that I sold to buy this trailer.
Okay. So that's how you financed it. You
Okay.
financed your venture. I'm not necessarily talking about a loan from a bank.
Yeah. Okay. How are you going to find the money to pay for all?
Yeah. How are you paying for your business? Because
I got it. Okay.
I think people need to understand that you're not going to make money year one. More than likely. I know you are going to probably.
I still haven't figured that out yet. I'm paying my bills. That's all that matters at the moment. Okay. I'm paying my bills.
And that's good. And that's a goal. Kind of like when we were doing barbecue contests and you're early on, your goal is not to finish last.
Exactly.
Pay your bills.
But
you need to have a plan in place or a deep savings account to say, I can go without an income for a year to 2 years. Because everything you have needs to go back into the business. If you're going to grow your business to a point where it's going to support you, everything's got to be back in. And I emptied out my 401k and I was able to without huge penalties because of COVID. And I was able to take advantage of some of those programs, but.
So you're saying you were lucky?
Yeah. As bad as the timing was, it worked in my advantage for me not to be able to pay myself, to make sure that I could pay people like Chris.
Yeah.
Because that was priority one, was make the payments on the trailer and pay Chris.
Oh, so you're saying paying somebody, paying your help was a priority?
Yes, after I had him.
I know. I'm just bringing it back.
I know.
So
I know what you're trying to do.
I think I would agree with most of what you said so far. I would definitely agree with have the mentality that you are going to be broke. Like it's not going to be something that that you're going to just live on stacks of cash, and you have to be able to reinvest it, build it, figure out where you have to be really good at marketing. Are you good at marketing? Are you good at selling your brand? If you're an introvert, this is not for you. If you're not good at getting out there, and I make a joke that I have a face for radio, but if people don't know who you are, I think it's going to be tough. I don't necessarily think that you have to have. You said something, I can't remember what it was.
Story of my life.
Like I said, I agree with most of what you're saying, but the thing is yeah, never mind. I'm just gonna go back to, for me, it's all about help. You can, like, okay, so a competition guy is gonna get 1,000, 1,500 likes on Facebook because he's winning competitions, but you find out that they've been in restaurants before. Like we know several big name people have been in restaurants before, and they're like, oh, well, how did you get into oh, you're running a food truck now. Oh, you're running 3 successful restaurants. Oh, you're just winning competitions left and right. I thought you were a landscaper, or I thought you were, most of the barbecue guys we know here in Michigan are like IT guys.
Yeah. That
would never want to go into a food. Well, they may never want to go into a food truck thing. They're happy with their IT guys.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a drive. You have to have the drive to succeed, for sure, in anything you do.
Tolerance for awful weather.
You also have to not be afraid to fail. And that's something I'm afraid of every single day I open up shop. I'm afraid to fail. So that drives me. I want to be the guy that when other people are failing, I want to be there. I still want to keep going with it. I don't want to look at this at the end of the year and say, did I screw anything up? Are people going to want me to come back to their subdivisions or their breweries or distilleries next year? You know, when I get a call from a brewery that I deal with telling me that he's getting married and wants me to cater his wedding, that's damn. Like I'm floored. I'm floored when I get phone calls like that, or referrals. In the mortgage business that I've been in for 15 years, the best compliment you can ever get is a referral. So if you're going to cook food for somebody, is that person going to tell somebody else to come down to you? Right. Or to use you or something like that? I know, sorry, tangent, probably not.
No, you're good. But I mean, Skippy, the good thing about failure is that you learn something from it. You learn nothing from success.
I think failure breeds success.
I fail weekly. And I think it's not to not be afraid of failure, but to embrace it. That's how you improve, is by screwing something up and learning how to do something better. That's where growth comes from.
It's all about how you handle catastrophe.
Yeah, just like a barbecue contest. Barbecue contests are very relatable to life. It's
sure
something's going to go wrong.
Yep, that's how you deal with it.
Be prepared for it, embrace it, and move on.
Like your generator goes bad, what are you going to do?
Exactly. Yeah,
when you have a flat tire, what are you going to do?
You try to make contingencies for everything. You carry a certain amount of spare parts and stuff, but failure is inevitable, whether it's equipment or you wake up and everything's just a little overdone, or nothing's close to being done for whatever reason, or you wake up and your controller box is off because the plug blew the GFI and the battery ran out, and you have no idea when it turned off or how long, or whatever. And that's happened to me. I woke up one morning and no fan blowing, and I'm at 180 degrees in the pit. And it's like, oh, let's start a fire and
make it work.
And just get to work. And we've never had a day that we put meat on the night before and haven't had it ready the next day. Everything's recoverable. Everything is doable. And yeah, I mean, then that's the only part probably where Chris would lack. And he always knows he can call me. Like you said, would you be comfortable going on vacations? Yeah. If something like that happened, his ability to adjust, to make it right, to finish a cook would be where he struggled. If something was out of the ordinary when he went to the trailer.
Makes sense. And
but
I think
that's something we know from cooking barbecue for 12 years.
Yeah. So what I said a minute ago about being an introvert, do you think an introvert can do good at this?
Yeah.
So
you need to identify. So that's part of the not having help, not identifying the people, but identifying the type of people you need. So you need to identify your own weaknesses. Are you good at this, this, and this? If not, then you need to find somebody that can fill those gaps. So if you are an introvert, you need to find somebody that's an extrovert to be in that window and to be the face of your business. I'm not an introvert by any stretch. Chris is a hell of a salesperson. He is, and he remembers people's names at a rate that it boggles my brain. That I don't have the capacity for it. That he remembers people's orders, names, faces. It's insane to me. It just doesn't compute. And Pam is also that way. I can do it, but it's not at the same level. So I sit in the background, and that whole first year, 80% of people thought it was his truck, which was a little annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I was actually gonna mention that. Like, was that annoying? Because it's not his, it's yours, it's your baby.
Well, and he would kind of go with it. I was like, dude, why do you keep saying my truck? But having him there and having that personality that he has, I've worked with you guys, and your guys' dynamic is cool. I haven't had the chance to meet Pam yet. I'm sure she's a hoot, but your guys' dynamic is great to where he trusts you, you trust him. You guys can make it happen together. I have somebody that's like that, but I'm slowly starting to realize that they might not be, I guess, quote unquote, all in. And what I mean by all in is, okay, if you're going to want to go out to the food truck and be there for 3-4 hours, you have to have that same mentality to go to a catering gig. You might not get tips for it, but it's the same thing. Yeah.
If you're gonna be that part, and that's what I'm kind of struggling with. I don't have. It's family, so got to keep going, got to keep rolling with the punches. But
when you get there and you provide some ownership, and just I'm guessing you have a business account by now. Yeah, with the bank. So anything less than 5%, they don't have to have their name on bank accounts. But as soon as you hit 5% ownership, their name has to be on the bank account and they have access to it. Not saying that you can't trust people, just an FYI. So I have, besides myself, there's now 4 different owners, and they're all at 4%. So either from various buy-ins or as compensation for personal loans and that kind of thing. Since they won't take interest, I provide them as a share of the business at some point in time. Hopefully it pays off for them. But right now I think they're $4 here, $4 there. But because right now everything's going back into the business, as much as I can, everything's getting reinvested to do things better, to do things more consistent, to get ready for the next step, the next phase of what we have going on. But providing, Chris has a 4% share, and it goes up by 1% every year until he hits 10%. So,
and that's good that you trust him, that based off what you just said, that you trust him that much.
Absolutely.
I think that's amazing.
Because I think he sees the value in what we're doing. He enjoys it. He sees the value in it, and he knows the better he does, the better the business does, the better he does.
Yeah, he's got skin in the game. I mean, at the end of the day, he's got skin in the game for sure. He's not just there for a paycheck. He's there for he wants to see it grow. He wants to see it bigger, and hopefully the next
He
step.
wants my job,
Yeah.
and he's being trained to take it.
I mean, I've seen him make food. It takes a minute, but
I mean, yeah, he wants to do what I'm doing.
I love Chris.
He wants to sit down at a desk and manage the business, and I am more than happy to give it to him as soon as we can get there.
Yeah.
But we're a couple trucks away from that being a likelihood. So I would love to sit back and just collect checks on a beach. But that doesn't happen very often in the food truck world. I lost your audio. I can't hear a word you're saying.
Doing this from my phone. The guys from Cousins Maine Lobster went on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Sweet Racks go on Shark Tank and have franchises.
No, I wouldn't be able to handle. I'd crack underneath that pressure. I'm less about a franchise. I'm all about legacy in my journey here. I've always said I need 4 trucks. 4 trucks gets me to the point where I think I can step away. If that leads to a brick and mortar of some sort, so be it. I can see myself having one at some point in time when the environment proves better. Right now, it's a horrible environment.
Going back to my number one thing of what you need, you're saying you need help?
3 years in, Bert, 3 years in, I need help. No, that wasn't anywhere near the first thought I had.
No, I know.
It's okay. Is it feasible for me to be able to do this?
Absolutely. I mean,
can I figure out some bank to give me some sort of shitty ass loan to be able to finance the project? And I'm grateful that I have been able to make all my payments, but it's those kinds of companies, and they've been fine to work with. But I understand why so many businesses go out of business from those types of predatory loans that are easy to get. And I get text messages every day. $100,000 for your business today. Pay back $300,000 in 4 years. And you keep cutting out.
Apologize because we keep talking the same.
No, I wasn't saying a word that time. You cut out. Deep breaths. Deep breaths, Skippy. I love you.
You want me to growl? Oh, Sunset Hurricane. All right. So do you have the financing to do it? Do you have I think you need a personality to do it. You definitely need help to do it. You need to figure out the equipment you're going to use. You're going to figure out that you're going to get beat down every single day for the first few months. And do you have the mental capacity to deal with that? That's another thing too, is do you have the mental capacity to deal with, I went to a gas station that I thought was busy and I was there all day and I lost $100.
Yeah. Gosh, that'd be a good day. That's not a bad loss. I've lost way more than that today.
They gave you the feel
this year.
No, it's like, is that the other big thing? Sorry, here's another big thing we didn't talk about. You have a support system.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Having a support system, having somebody that's, if you have that bad day, can you talk to somebody about it?
It definitely helps. Especially in your starting planning phases.
Yeah. I had ideas off of. I had Bubba, even though we complain about each other all the time. A couple other people I've been able to bounce ideas off of. I worked in your truck a couple times. What's the saying? You quit the job because you didn't want to work 9 to 5, and you're working 24 hours a day or something like that. There's like a saying that's something like that, but that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
working 24 hours a day.
I'm always working. 99% of my awake hours are, if I'm not doing something actively with the business, I am thinking about what I need to do with the business.
Yeah.
I think that helps. And it's a big reason why it's year 3/4 and we're still here through the pandemic. You have to be willing to eat shit a lot of the time to make it through the next day.
You started before, I mean, basically before the pandemic, or at least right around the time it kind of started.
Yeah.
I started when, meat costs are the highest they've been, and fuel's the highest it's been, and cost just to do business is the highest it's been. And my thought was, if I can do it now, I can definitely do it when it gets better. If I can make it through this year unscathed, I guess is probably a good word for it, and not, maybe only crying once a week instead of every day. That's
Yeah.
that was a goal. Is this is gonna? I'm hoping this is gonna be the toughest it's going to be.
Yeah, and let's normalize men crying. It's okay, guys. Cry.
Cry. It's okay.
There's no harm.
Pour in your food truck and just sit there and ponder great thoughts. This is not pooping.
Yeah, it is not, I mean, it's not for everyone. And this last 3 years has been territory that hasn't ever been seen in the restaurant industry, let alone the food truck industry. And I keep waiting for it to get better, but it has, but I mean, there's not money to be made in food as it is. And then you throw in the exorbitant costs that we're all seeing. I'm going to pull up some receipts, I think, from 2019. Share some of those next week. On what my average trip looked like to GFS back then, and what we were paying for stuff. Because I know there's been all kinds of posts on Facebook and stuff from restaurants. I don't believe half of them.
You actually you didn't change your menu prices until this year.
No, we did last year. So we raised them just a little bit last year. I mean, none of them have been huge. Like, I think we were on average 50 cents an item this year. And I think it was a quarter last year or something like that per item.
That's another thing as far as starting a food truck is, okay, let's say now you got your concept. What are your prices going to be? What are people going to pay for your stuff? Is it, if you go out as a burger truck, what's different between you? Like, what's going to set you apart from, the 6 other burger trucks, along with every fast food restaurant that serves burgers? And, just going to be one of those guys, or are you just that just travels? Like, what's that going to be? What did you do? How did you set your menu?
Set the menu or set the prices?
The prices, condensed version.
So I kind of made a ginormous spreadsheet, had an idea of about what it would cost me to make each sandwich.
Analysis?
Give or take. What's that?
Analysis paralysis? You're the spreadsheet.
And I told you about that before, and I have not been able to find it. I lost it on some computer. I don't know. But yeah, so that's where I started. So I knew where, I mean, I knew what I was making on every sandwich at one point. I knew what margin I had, and that's kind of where I started.
You believe people start too low just to get business in?
I think that is a reasonable way to go about it. I mean, or a reasonable thought that people have. Like, I'm gonna be the cheapest ones just to get people there, and then I'm gonna wow them with my food, and then year 2 we'll have a big price jump. I think it's dangerous. I think it's hard to start low and then have a substantial price jump once you start getting customers. Which is why I've really struggled with raising prices at a level that, I mean, some people have told me I needed to go higher, but we're making money per sandwich. So
think for what you're serving and the quality of food you're serving, I think there's definitely room for, you could have went a lot higher. Well, I wouldn't say a lot higher. You could have went marginally higher.
I
But I
agree.
think you have a large customer base right now that visits probably once or twice a week. And it's you gotta think about those people too. You know, great, you might go to different areas, but everything's got to be as consistent as possible, especially your prices. You know,
Yeah.
you can't show up in spring and have a pulled pork sandwich be $9 and then show up in the fall and pulled pork sandwich being $11
Right.
in place. It just doesn't work. Or to me, I don't believe it works. But it also
Yeah.
goes, you're either chasing the dream or you're chasing the money. I don't think you can chase both.
Yeah. We're gonna need a shirt with that on there, I think.
So, absolutely. Chasing a dream.
Or Skippyisms. So what is the dream, Skippy?
What is the dream?
You're saying you're chasing the dream. What's the, in your head, what's the dream?
I want a brick and mortar as a commissary kitchen that I can park the food truck at. Actually, let's go back. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I was talking to a couple other guys about possibly starting a retail store.
Mhm.
That's a barbecue retail store. We have friends that currently do the online version, but
Yeah, we're not saying their names until they sponsor us.
hint, hint, clue, clue.
No, I will later, but
So it's now evolved into, I would really like a retail spot that does have a space for a small kitchen, that I can park the food truck out, that I can have somebody run the food truck while I monitor the store, or I can have somebody monitor the store and I can run the food truck.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate dream right now. That's where I see, hopefully I see PB&J's going. I've been asked about, I don't know how many times, do you have a storefront? Like, can we just come get it if we want to? I said, every Monday I post my schedule. Come find me anywhere I am, which I appreciate. I love all those people that say that. But I think, yeah, I would love a retail store that I could, ever since I discovered barbecue, whether it be competitions or just cooking it,
Mhm.
it really has taken over my life to the point where, yeah, quit my job, not doing mortgages anymore. I'm just doing this. So if I can have something else, and I've been told that retail stores suck, and if I'm thinking that this is a hassle or a risky venture,
Mhm.
a retail store would be 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And so, but that's, I think the ultimate goal is to have, and then I'd love to have guest food trucks come out like on Friday or Saturday or during the week or something like that, that they'll use the products that I'm selling and, be able to just market and give food trucks a life. And, I never thought I would eat at a vegan food truck. And I'll tell you what, it was some of the best food I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to get, it's funny, at a barbecue truck and a vegan truck set up at the same spot, but you have those customers and they're awesome people. And there's a lot of other food trucks that are in our city that are awesome people that just don't get love. And I don't know if they don't get love because they're not trying hard enough or they're too new or whatever. But I'd love to have a spot where I can give them the love that they need. That's my dream.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, kind of where I was too, was not necessarily a brick and mortar, but more of a brick and mortar commissary that I could do maybe a small counter for the meat by the pound stuff, but primarily a steady spot that I could just leave our truck along with a food truck court of sorts to bring in other food trucks, but also my four, and then I can send out my truck still, and bring in other trucks. And so I would love to have 2 barbecue trucks and then 2 other trucks, of other styles, and leave one barbecue truck at the place all the time and do all my cooking out of there and just load trucks in the morning and off we go. Would make life a whole lot easier. But that's a ways away for me, and we need a market crash. So For that to be affordable.
Yeah, yeah, I found that out too.
Yeah, yeah, buildings aren't cheap, and leases even right now aren't cheap, and I'm seeing a whole lot more space available for lease right now, and I'm hoping that we're going to start to see a turn in pricing as supply and demand kind of shifts a little bit. So, but $8 a square foot is not conducive to anything that I am willing to pay a month.
No.
On a 2,000 square foot building, that math is pretty harsh for a monthly commitment. So
Yeah. I mean, I found a small one that was like $700 a month. It was like first it was like a takeout ice cream place, and then somehow they closed it up to be like a little office.
okay,
Like the idea of it being a takeout, but it's off a main road, but it's right by like the most dirtiest fireworks place. As if anybody gets to see this, Josh is now wearing a fireworks t-shirt. So,
great.
but it's finding the right spot. I've been talking to another food truck, and that's his goal. But are you chasing the dream, or are you chasing the money?
Yeah.
And he just started as much as I did, So hopefully we'd love to get this podcast out so everybody can see it, and everybody can hear it.
Yeah, so we can get paid. Oh, sorry.
But
so we can share knowledge.
On the Facebook page, though, we'd love to hear your comments. Find us on Facebook. I'd love to see what everybody else's dream is. Where do you see yourself? And the cliche answer, or the cliche questions, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, hopefully I'm still waking up on the right side of the bed. And hopefully this is still something I'm doing. I think 5 years is a short-term goal. Maybe 10 years is a long.
Well, when you look at, here, let me pull it up real quick. I can never remember the stats right. Got a big old glare on my screen.
Oh, you do have a window right there.
So 60% of new restaurants fail in the first year. And then so in the first year, and nearly 80% shutter their doors before their 5th anniversary. So 5 years not short-sighted. If you're still open in 5 years, you're in the 20%, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So especially in the environment that we're in.
And that's not to scare anybody away from doing it.
I mean, but you should be aware of it,
Yeah, that's reality.
You got to be on your game all the time. You have to be thinking about it all the time. I mean, there's not room for vacations and during whatever your season is, wherever you live. I mean, shit, those people down south don't have an off season.
Yeah.
But you need balance, and whatever balance is for you, and it's different for everybody. And the amount of hustle that you can tolerate is different for everybody. And we're in a weird spot right now where the word hustle is being demonized, largely in part because of the way Gary Vaynerchuk promotes himself as, he's the king of hustle. But he sleeps 6 hours a day, and he says everybody else should sleep 5 to 6. You should be, if this is your dream, give it what your dream deserves. Every piece that you can give it. Still make time for family. It's going to be less time than what a lot of people think is fair, but your work-life balance is up to you. What can you sustain? What can your family sustain? Everybody still be happy. But yeah, all people say is he works 18 hours a day, 19 hours a day, and it's not healthy.
Look at The Rock.
Yeah, it's
people that follow him on Instagram or Snap or Twitter or whatever, that he would be a role model of somebody who he eats, sleeps, and breathes his brand.
Yeah.
And he's with all that he has gotten, he had to work hard for it. Anybody ever seen anything that has to do with him in his early days? I'm a big wrestling fan. Some people know that, some people don't, whatever. But he was the reason his production company is named $7 Productions is that literally all he had in his pocket when he became a professional wrestler. He got kicked out of football 3 times. You know, and it's something that you have to, and it goes back to failure. I mean, he failed miserably to the point where like he was getting boos in the stadiums, and he quickly changed his character, and now he's great. Now everybody wants to be The Rock, and now he's the highest paid actor ever. And you know, but he works out at 3 o'clock in the morning just because that's his routine. And he'd be one guy that I would love to have dinner with, just to talk. You know, he's definitely a role model for somebody who believes in hustle.
Yeah.
And that's who my guy would be, is like that's a hustler. That's a guy who never stops, never gives up.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, and you don't have to do 100-hour weeks.
No.
For your hustle. It's different for everybody, and it depends on a lot on what you're doing. But for me, it's how I function. You know, I wish I could do 120 hours a week. You know, I feel like I need that extra time, and I can't get enough done in the 100 hours I'm doing. But that's me, and that's my drive, and that's always trying to figure out how to get to the next spot, the next benchmark and goal. So yeah, I mean, but if you don't have that kind of drive, or if you aren't willing to give everything you are and everything you have into your business for the first couple of years, you better have the best food that's ever been made to be able to sustain it.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to be perfect everywhere else to make up for a lack of drive. And if you don't, I don't know how you could have the best anything without that kind of drive. Yeah. But just my 2 cents. Yeah, you have The Rock. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk, if anybody has seen any of his stuff, he is phenomenal. He is the guy that I look to for branding and marketing and general entrepreneurship.
I love watching Shark Tank.
You would like Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, I mean, all his content's free. He's got a few books, but everything that's in his books is available for free. Like, he doesn't charge for shit. And he swears, and he's the keynotes that he does are not scripted. Like, he just goes and talks. And they're 90% Q&A. You know,
those things like that.
Yeah. So shout out to my man Gary V. But anyways, well, that's a good start on where we're starting, I think.
Well, yeah, that's an hour
Look,
and a half.
good. An
I
hour.
think it's going to be. This is. I hope it opens a lot of people's eyes on what it takes. We don't want to put fear in anybody's eyes. It just, I'm a realist, and I think Josh is a realist. You have to have that, you know, devil's advocate in you of like, okay, if this doesn't go right, what do you do now? Or if this menu item doesn't work, what do you do? And I think you have to have
a little bit of fear is healthy as long as you don't let it control you.
Absolutely. I spent a long time having fear control me of not doing the right thing. You might be fired, you know.
Yeah. Fuck everybody that says you can't do it and that your dream's stupid.
Absolutely.
And that it's not the best time to do it, or it's or to wait.
What did you tell? I think we already covered this, but what did you tell me when I was talking about doing this? No time. It's never.
You're never going to be ready.
Yeah. You're never going to be ready. It's never going to be the right time. You said in the very beginning, it's not a hobby.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. It's a life. But if you have that drive, nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Keep moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, my dad, when I put in my notice, said, "Are you sure this is the right time?" I said, "If I don't do it now, there will always be a reason for me not to do it. Always. And if I didn't pull the trigger when I did it, I don't know that I would ever have done it."
I mean, your dad told me a different story, that you were on the verge of just being fired. So I mean, that's
probably
that's...
wouldn't surprise me.
Fired from the family business. Anyway,
We're still trying to fix shit that I touched when I was there, so.
great. Well, I think it was definitely a good conversation. We'll cover more of this next time, but we'll, next time is what, part 2 of how to start a food truck?
Yeah, part 2 of 100 probably. If anybody has specific questions or anything related to food trucks, yeah, either reach out to Bert or I on our individual Facebooks / Instagrams. Have you made up any ground on me yet on Instagram?
I'm almost at 100.
Okay, good job.
90, 98.
Nice
Seems
work.
like a new one every day.
How are you doing on Facebook likes?
567.
Nice work.
No,
I just crossed over 8,100 and I think I'm like 8,130 now.
967.
Oh, I'm looking. I don't have those like memorized. Let's see here. I'm at 513 for Instagram and 8,125 on Facebook. So you're catching me. You're getting there. I also promote my pay. I pay significantly Facebook ads for promotion of just the page. So
Yeah, I've only done that a couple times. We got
I get about half my mine goes all year long. It just runs. So about half my likes are paid likes or advertised likes,
Yeah.
but all in my area. So that's in English. So yeah, any questions can go to Skippy's Facebook, which is at what or / what?
My Facebook is at PBJ's BBQ of Michigan.
And mine's just Sweet Racks Barbecue. Or find a Monday Morning Food Truck on Facebook and you could message us there. We'll both get those messages. So you'll get 2 responses probably because we won't see the other one. And
But let us know what let us know what your dream is. If you want to tag your food truck in it, that's fine. So let us know what you love about doing what you're doing, or even if you have any questions about where we've been, we'll try to cover as much as possible. But this is fun. Let's keep going. I don't have an outro yet. Working on it.
I sang us in. You can't sing us out.
Goodbye. So long. For now. That's all I got.
All right, everybody. Talk to you later.